I don't judge anyone. How toxic positivity plays into the hands of narcissists. Part 3. Welcome to today's topic, ladies and gentlemen. I am Coach Tobias Forst. We will skip the intro today and dive right into the fray. Imagine the following outset. You are situated at a table with a very close friend of yours. And you're discussing various topics and you are elaborating on a relationship problem back at home that you are currently experiencing. And you want your best friends, you want their, or close friends, you want their opinion and advice. And at some point, they offer up the following words of non-wisdom, which are, I don't judge anyone. All right, let's press pause there for a moment and look at what to judge in this context actually means. According to the Cambridge Dictionary, to judge in this context means to consider and form an idea of, to estimate, to criticize for doing wrong. Okay, apparently your friend at the table doesn't do that. They don't consider or form an idea of, they don't estimate, they don't criticize for doing wrong. Allegedly. So let's go into a bit of a thought experiment. Imagine that this is what you're telling this thought experiment is what you're doing with your friend at the table. And you're telling them, you know what, John, let's imagine you're at your fridge, and within the fridge there are several units of milk packaged in various ways, and there is the 1.5% fat milk, the 3.5% milk, and milk that has long had or is long overdue, if that's the term for it. It's really it's beyond saving. So you shake the bottle, you already hear the harder parts therein that shouldn't be there, and there are a few funny colors coming out when you spill it into the sink. And you ask John, so as you don't judge, as you just said, you apparently don't really care which one of those three you drink. And John falls into a bit of a hissy fit and an outburst and says, I only drink dairy-free milk. And you counter with, well, that does sound like you're judging the milk for what it is. You seem to have a preference. And John, who still hasn't figured out that you're speaking metaphorically, tries to counter with, when I think about it, I don't really drink any milk at all. And you repeat yourself, ladies and gentlemen, and tell him observingly, well, that sounds like you're judging, John. That sounds like you're having a preference. So apparently what's happening is that this person, this John guy, avoids taking in what might be or will very likely be toxic for his body. So he's judging. Now there are people out there that play on mincing words and engaging in word salad, and they might try to wiggle their way out of this verbally by stating, this is not a judgment, this is a preference. And you're already bored hearing this from John because he just doesn't take responsibility right there. And in your mind, your recollection, you draw to the foreground in your mind what preference actually means, according to the Cambridge Dictionary. Preference, choice of liking for one thing over another. Choice of liking for one thing rather another. All right. That sounds like a judgment. Preference sounds like a judgment, doesn't it, ladies and gentlemen? So now you might be thinking, geez, I know someone like this. I know someone like John in my life. And what I would like you to do, ladies and gentlemen, when you think about this person or these people that you're currently bringing to the front of your mind, ask yourself the following questions about them. What motivates your personal John to talk about non-judgment? Who or what are they possibly protecting? What are they cowardly running away from by avoiding to look at a harsh and uncomfortable cold truth right in front of them, but instead choose to look up at the horizon and the sky with words like, I don't judge anybody? Last question for them or about them. Why don't they think critically? You've just witnessed with all these examples how easy it was to deconstruct a sentence like, I don't judge anybody. Now this is where we come into the danger territory, because this is not just something to sneer at or laugh at. It can actually be harmful to engage, like this fictional John in my example does, to engage in toxic positivity that states, I don't judge anybody. Going back to the example at the beginning of the video, ladies and gentlemen, where you are situated with a close friend of yours at a table and you've just talked about your personal relationship problems at home and you hope for advice, constructive advice. And you hear a sentence like, I don't judge anybody. Regardless of how the rest of the evening goes, this is something that just sits at the back, this sentence sits at the back of your mind. It doesn't really let you go. And you go home to your partner and you think that maybe those times where a few utilities in the kitchen went missing, never to be found, and your boyfriend, girlfriend told you that you are probably imagining things, or the last time that you were at a couple's dinner at a friend's place and your partner made a huge scene and invalidated you in front of everyone. You were starting to have doubts. Maybe you overreacted, right? Was it really that rough, that hard, that intense? Probably not. And to conclude this train of thought with John offering you the advice of, well, I don't judge anybody. He just made you not judge your boyfriend or your girlfriend or your husband or your wife, although you should have. So what has John become by saying that? What has John become by engaging in toxic positivity? John has become an enabler for narcissistic abuse against you from somebody else. So I have news for these people out there that engage in toxic positivity and claim so nightily that they don't judge anybody. The news is this: every one of us judges every day, everything and everyone, all the time. And whoever tries to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, anything different is either childishly naive or malevolently lying. I call these two patterns, the package of these two patterns, verbal communism. And like its real life shining example, verbal communism tries with willful blindness to treat everyone the same, but ignoring human nature. All of us, all of our ancestors, and all of our descendants will judge things, situations, people. Why? Because it is ingrained in our DNA, and it is nothing less than a survival tactic. And whoever thinks that they have to tell you that I don't judge anybody is actively judging in that very moment. Because thinking back to the example at the beginning of the video, where you were so bold as to judge your boyfriend, girlfriend, whoever, and John at the table told you, well, I don't judge anybody. They just judged that whatever you said didn't fit into their perception of reality. So their judgment, their preference, led to them saying that they allegedly don't judge. Whoever out there, ladies and gentlemen, in their cerebral flatulences tries to sell you the non-judgmental nonsense, feel free to let them drink the fridge's narcissistic milk as often as they like by whoever it was served to them. Because you might have already found out for yourself that for you, drinking this metaphorical narcissistic milk is nothing short of toxic and detrimental to you, to your health, and to your sanity. For risks and side effects, please consult your psychologist or life coach. And be your own hero, be your own heroine. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.